Welcome back, Math Grizz. Today, we will use compatible numbers to add. Compatible numbers. Compatible numbers are friendly numbers that are easier to add. They can be numbers that end in 0 or numbers that end in 5. For example, numbers that end in 0. Numbers that end in 5. When we add, we are going to try to find the nearest number to our addend that either ends in 0 or ends in 5. Let's add 76 plus 62. Now let's think, what number is close to 76 that either ends in 0 or ends in 5? I know that 76 is close to 75. Now let's think, 62. What number ends in 0 or a 5 that is close to 62? Well, I know 60 is pretty close, and that ends in a 0. Now we can quickly add. We know that 5 plus 0 is 5, and now 7 plus 6. We can do 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Now let's add the standard way. 6 plus 2 is 8, 7 plus 6 is 13. So we can use compatible numbers to add quickly and still get a sum that is pretty close to the actual sum. Let's add 83 plus 29. Let's think, 83 is close to what number that ends either in a 0 or a 5? 83 is very close to 85. Now what about the number 29? What number that is near 29 ends either in a 0 or a 5? We know that 30 is pretty close to 29 and it ends in a 0. Now let's quickly add. 5 plus 0 we know is 5, and 8 plus 3 is 11. Let's add the standard way. 3 plus 9 is 12. 8 plus 1 plus 2 is 11. We notice that when we use friendly numbers or compatible numbers, we get an answer that is pretty close to the actual sum. So we know that 112 is approximately 115. Let's add 15 plus 79. We notice that 15 already has a 5 at the end, so we will simply keep it 15. Now 79. What number close to 79 either ends in a 0 or a 5? We know that 79 is pretty close to 80. Let's quickly add 5 and 9. Now let's add the standard way. 5 plus 9 is 14, and 7 plus 2 is 9. We notice that when we use compatible numbers, we got a sum that was pretty close to the actual sum. 39 plus 32. Let's think, 39 is close to what number that ends either in a 0 or a 5? We know that 40 is pretty close and it ends in a 0. For 32, we know that 32 is pretty close to 30 and that ends in a 0. 0 and 0 make 0, and 4 plus 3 makes 7. Now let's add the standard way. 9 plus 2 is 11, and 3 and 3 make 6, plus 1 is 7. We notice that 71 is approximately 70. Let's add 49 plus 74. Let's think, what number that is close to 49 ends in a 0 or a 5? We know that 50 is close to 49. Now let's think, 74. What number close to 74 ends in either a 0 or a 5? We know 75 is close and that ends in a 5. Let's quickly add. Now let's add the standard way. 9 and 4 make 13. 7 and 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. We notice that when we use compatible numbers, we can add more quickly and we still get an answer that is pretty close to the actual sum. 26 plus 68. Let's think. 26 is very close to 25 and that ends in a 5. 68 is pretty close to 70 and that ends in a 0. 5 plus 0 is 5 and 7 plus 2 is 9. Now 6 plus 8, that equals 14. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. When we use compatible numbers, we add more quickly and we get a sum that is pretty close to the actual sum.